Wait,
So in that, sorry.
Hi everyone, my name is Hanna. I'm an activist based in Toronto, and such a pleasure to hear from all of you. And I've been such a fan, particularly of Good Shepherd Collective. You've been just pushing out such good material. Like, mainly follow you on Twitter, cutting edge, talking about proper allyship, talking about getting to the roots of Zionism. So thank you. And Bana, I wonder if you can speak a little bit about the recent escalated violence against the occupied West Bank. And you kind of touched on it now by talking how, discussing how we need to do more than boycott. But I wonder what we can do in the context of the West Bank, which reminds us that none of this started on October 7th. It goes back to 1948. So yeah, I'd appreciate, hearing from you what's going on and what we can do to help.
I think that question, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It warms our hearts, at the Good Shepherd Collective to see people inspired by the work, especially that we're trying to shed light on really the meaning of being an anti-Zionist ally in the movement. In terms of what's happening in the West Bank, I think we have in fact like two issues. One is that the media is not picking up on what's happening. The second is the Palestinian Authority is in fact jointly to Palestinians. So it's, if I must say, it's in fact dangerous. A dangerous escalation to see how the Palestinian Authority is willing to go as far as that to suppress and act as act as a tool and another also ally of the Zionist army, really military. In a way, I think one thing that upsets me about movements, abroad is that, we have this talk about, we need to recognize the Palestinian state. Why is our government not recognizing the Palestinian state? And it's all under the premise of the two-state solution. What this does, unfortunately, is it legitimizes the Palestinian Authority. I think at this stage, as much as we are, opposed to the Zionist entity, we need to also be opposed to the Palestinian Authority and what it's doing. We should not legitimize them in our spaces. Palestinian ambassadors anywhere should not be invited to speak anywhere, because you're legitimizing the Palestinian Authority and what they're committing. They have blood on their hands, and that needs to be clear to people that, the Palestinian Authority is not to be open and and then accepted in spaces, in solidarity spaces. That needs to be a red line. When we talk about solidarity with Palestinians, we do not include the Palestinian Authority. Yes, some allies speak to me that it's hard for them to criticize the PA because of the fact that they're still the Palestinian Authority. I think it's important for them to just focus their attention on the Zionist entity. I think if you just look at what the Palestinian Authority is doing right now, it's clear that they're both both sides of the same coin, really, the same tools of oppression and counterinsurgency. I think it's very important that we do not allow that to exist in our spaces. And I do not care really the type of connections that some groups have with the Palestinian Authority. I think these connections need to be severed, and these connections need to be completely made, like people need to just reject that completely. If you're in a meeting, speak up against it. Say that you don't want the Palestinian Authority to be represented in this meeting. You do not want them to be normalized, and you do not want their voices to be legitimized. The Palestinian people say no to the Palestinian Authority as much as they do to the Zionist entity.
Thank you, Bana. Hanna, you want to add to that? You're muted, Hanna. Afwan.
I'd like to say basically that our basis of unity as a coalition is very clear about that. So, basically, where is it? I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah, you know, we say that we are against, yeah, here it is. You know, we recognize that Zionism is a supremacist ideology which has created a settler colonial state in historic Palestine, which is clear, you know, I mean, we are anti-Zionist. We support the establishment of a democratic state in all of historic Palestine. Really, this is the essence of our any solidarity work. Because, you know, those who promote, I agree with Bana, you know, those who promote the Palestinian Authority or supporting a state of Palestine in the West Bank are really betraying the Palestinian people. Simple as that. I get some questions also from, I stop the share, but I get questions about Chomsky and Finkelstein. You know, those people who think that you can coexist with the Zionist state, with the racist state, again, they are betraying the Palestinian people. We had some statement against, and not just statement, but also discussion about Finkelstein when he attacked the BDS movement. I'll share the link on the chat for people to know. Again, if Chomsky and whoever, you know, just because they are supremacist Jews, because they Jews in the name, we should, you know, listen to what they are saying. That's nonsense, you know. We have our own people who speaks for us, not anybody else, Jews or non-Jews or Christian or non-Christian. We have Palestinian, Jews, Muslims, and Christian who speaks for the Palestinian people. And again, Abbas is to the dustbin of history, you know, the same like US imperialism and Zionism.
And just to add, in 1975, the General Assembly at the United Nations, Resolution 3379, did declare Zionism as racism, and that was in place until it was revoked 1991 in December, 1992 January. So this was kind of a non-controversial opinion. So do we have any more questions from Toronto?
Someone said, let's get that resolution restored.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much.
So